Why is nobody talking about Alose Okija? This is the only shrine in Nigeria licensed by the government to operate. Ogugwapo Ezike Okija is a woman deity. She was the first wife of her husband, and in Okija, polygamy is a very common thing dating back to ancient days. But unfortunately for her, as the first wife, she was unable to bear children of her own. This caused her co-wives to always make mockery of her, to the extent that whenever she cultivates in her farm, her stepchildren always go to the farm and destroy all her crops. Out of frustration, she will always go to her husband to report this incident, but guess what the husband does? He will always tell her to shut up. They collected all the land allocated to her by her husband, leaving her just a piece of land. But even with this small piece of land, whenever she cultivates, her stepchildren will always go there and destroy all her crops, leaving the woman in bitterness and frustration. They also labeled her a witch and an evil woman, all because she had no child of her own. That was even the worst part of it. But in reality, the woman was actually a white witch, which is not evil. She was the kind that always stays on her own without looking for anyone's trouble. For years, she kept enduring this evil treatment meted on her by her co-wives and family. They kept calling her wicked despite the fact that she was not evil. This went on for a very long time until one day she decided to report to the kinsmen for them to intervene. But guess what the kinsmen did? They all turned their back against her and told her she was only jealous because she had no child of her own. Then she also went ahead to report this issue to the whole village. But guess what the whole community did? They called her a jealous barren woman who could not have a child of her own, and that she was just reporting her co-wives and family out of jealousy and frustration. They all went against her. Due to this, she didn't know how to convince them that it was her stepchildren that kept destroying her crops in the farm. She then suggested that she would go to the farm and bring a stem of the cassava so that the stepchildren will swear with the cassava and prove their innocence. They all agreed. She then went to the farm, plucked the stem of a cassava and gave it to her stepchildren to swear with it. The cassava I'm talking about is actually the wild cassava that has thorns on it. That is the one she gave to them to swear with. They swore with it and all died. After a long time, the woman finally died. When she died, the whole community never wanted to bury her, that it is an abomination to bury a witch. But finally, they all decided to bury her in the forest where her farm was. Just 2 years after she was buried in the forest, her spirit started tormenting and killing everyone in the community, killing them all at once. The elders of the land started doing consultations to find out why their people were dying mysteriously. It was then that they found out that the spirit behind this was the woman the whole village mocked, insulted, and humiliated even after her death. After they realized this, they started consulting her spirit and pleading for her forgiveness, and asked what they could do to appease her spirit for them to be spared, because everyone involved in treating her bad had died already. After a long time of pleading, that was when the spirit finally agreed that before she will forgive the whole community, they must sacrifice a virgin. In those days, human sacrifice was a common thing. The whole village agreed and sacrificed a virgin as a ritual to appease her. After the virgin was sacrificed, she also demanded that before she would fully forgive them, that the whole village must agree that she will be the mother of Umuezike community. Because they had no choice, they all agreed. Then the ancestors of Ezike came together and agreed that all descendants of Ezike is a child of Awoloba. This is why in that community there are a lot of traditionalists and native doctors. They also used a very fat cow to appeal to the lady Ogugwapo that since they have all agreed to be her children, that anything they request of her, she must do it for them. Anyone that is being intimidated, that she should fight for them. The lady Ogugwapo agreed to be their deity, and she will grant everything they ask of her that is not evil. This was how the once angry woman became a deity and started blessing and uplifting the people of the community. Anyone that offends anybody can be reported to this deity. When they are reported, if they are innocent or show remorse for their offense, they will be forgiven. But when you are guilty and come to the deity to lie that you are innocent, the deity will come after you and you will start facing a lot of challenges, sometimes death if you don't appease the deity. It is said that if you are reported to this deity and you are consulted to come and speak for yourself and you refuse, it will kill you instantly. In the shrine, till this day, you will see corpses of people killed by the deity. There is an event that happened one time when someone was killed by the deity. The relatives of the victim, out of anger, went to the shrine and took pictures and videos of the corpse in the shrine and went to the police to report the issue. They reported to the police that it was the community that killed these people and not the deity. That these people only claim that it was the deity that killed them. The government then sent down troops to Okija to burn down the shrine to ashes. When they got there, they set the whole shrine ablaze. But guess what happened? The shrine never got burnt. After so many hours of trial to burn down the shrine to no avail, they decided to go with the corpse found in the shrine. They were forced to return this corpse after some days when the deity started disturbing them. After this event, they invited the deity worshippers to Abuja to interrogate them about the shrine. After they calmly explained how the deity came to be, they gave the Okija shrine license to operate.